chaos becomes order. Disparate efforts synchronize.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to day 10 of the journey. It was a packed day with a lot of progress, so let's get straight into what I accomplished. I started the day with my data structures and algorithms lecture, and we kicked off a brand new topic, queues. We got familiar with what a queue is and the principle it operates on. It's essentially the opposite of a stack. While a stack is LIFO, last in, first out, a queue is FIFO, first in, first out. We covered the core functions, push, pop, and the top, which in queue terminology are called enqueue, enqueue, dequeue, dequeue, and front. We also learned that queues can be implemented using stacks, linked lists, or a simple list. Then, we dove into the circular queue. It uses two pointers, front and rear, which both point to the 0th index initially. When you enqueue an element, the rear pointer increments. When you dequeue, the front pointer increments, and it wraps around the array, which is why it's circular. We wrote the code for both a normal queue and a circular queue from scratch during the lecture, defining all the functions like enqueue, dequeue, front, and display. The professor also explained the approach for a really interesting problem, implementing a stack using queues, which brings me to my next task. Next up was my daily LeetCode session, where I aim to solve at least 2 problems. My first problem was the exact one from class, implement stack using queues. The approach requires 2 queues. Let's call them Q1, the main queue, and Q2, a helper queue. The logic works like this: when you push a new element, you add it to Q1. Then, you take any elements that are already in Q2 and move them back to Q1 after the new element. You then effectively swap the roles, so the front of the main queue will always hold the last element added, perfectly simulating a stack's LIFO behavior. After solving that, I came across the reverse problem: implement queue using 2 stacks. This one was tricky. My own initial approach had a few logical errors, so I took some guidance from AI to get through it. In the end, I managed to solve both problems, and you can see they both passed with 100% time complexity. Following LeetCode, it was time for my trading session. As I've mentioned recently, I've been lagging a bit with my trading strategy, so I took it upon myself today to improvise, revise, and fix my plan. I got on the trading terminal and immediately pulled up a video from my mentor, TJR Trading. I carefully listened to his video on the daily bias and was constantly switching back and forth between his YouTube video and my trading terminal. I wanted to see if the bias points he was describing were forming in real time, to help refresh my memory and make the concept stick. I tried to grasp the strategy and implement it. I took a short trade, and to be honest, my bias was almost correct this time. The market consolidated around my entry price, but then a high volatility news event came in unexpectedly. It just swept my stop loss, and I got stopped out again. However, it was a slight improvement from yesterday. My strategy definitely felt more refined, and I look forward to keep improving it day by day. I lost 1.5% on my demo account and am already down by $200 on my prop account, so to prevent further loss on that account, I was not trading my prop firm account, just the demo to practice and refresh my trading strategy with no risk, just pure bias implementation. So, that's the complete update on trading. Here is the updated version with just a few more words added in. Next up was my consistent daily language practice. Today was Spanish, and I extended my streak to an impressive day 297, just 3 days away from that 300-day milestone. When I jumped into the practice, I saw I had dropped to 4th or 5th on the leaderboard, which gave me some extra motivation. So, I had one clear aim: climb back to the top spot while also revising and improving my Spanish. I practiced the basic past tense, with useful phrases like "did you bring your dictionary?" and "did you find the keys?" I also learned new words like *responder*, to answer, *enseñando*, teaching, *comprender*, to understand, and *1918, the year 1918. It was a good session, mostly focused on talking about the past. I also did a quick match madness challenge to refresh some old vocabulary and test my memory. By the end of the session, I had successfully finished on top of the leaderboard. After that, I moved on to my machine learning session. Yesterday, I built a simple linear regression model. Today, it was time to level up to multiple linear regression, which means moving from 2 parameters to many. I went to Kaggle and found a housing price prediction dataset. I decided to predict the price based on three main factors: number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, square foot area of the house. This was a great challenge. I was introduced to new variables and I had to learn how to split my data into training and testing sets, which I hadn't done before. I got help from Gemini on this part. It guided me through how to split the data, using 80% for training and 20% for testing, and how to standardize the data by finding the mean and standard deviation to prevent scaling errors. After that, I wrote the core engine of the program, the gradient function and the gradient descent function, completely from scratch. For my first run, I set the iterations to 100,000 with an alpha of 0.01. It took a long time to run, and the outcome was not good. My final error score was around 3.42, which is huge. It should be under 0.5. The chart was clustered at the bottom. The problem was that a few outliers, houses with prices in the millions, were making the model go crazy and predict the value of other houses as near zero. To fix this, I introduced a log function to my Y data, the price, which scales down the values and squishes the outliers. I also reduced the iterations to 15,000. This time, the result was a massive improvement. My model's error score was around 0.4. The model also revealed that the square foot area had the biggest effect on the house price. Surprisingly, the number of bathrooms and bedrooms had a negligible effect. They were basically irrelevant. It was a great result to see from a model I wrote from scratch. Next up was my dedicated reading session. I'm currently reading 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, and today's 10 pages or so covered some truly fascinating concepts. Chapter 3, All Happy Companies Are Different, argues that the ultimate goal of any business is to create a monopoly, not simply to compete. Thiel's core point is that competition destroys profits, and that all truly successful companies are unique precisely because they've built something valuable that no one else can easily replicate. Chapter 4, The Ideology of Competition, builds directly on this idea, explaining how our society is almost obsessed with competition, but that this obsession is often a destructive trap. It makes rivals focus intensely on each other, rather than on creating entirely new value * for the world. It's a very powerful argument for finding a unique niche and owning it completely. Truly, this book opens up new doors of perspective on the world and is a must-read. The final task of the day was my quant prep. I'm still on differentiation and I'm very close to completing the chapter, with only one exercise left. After this, I'll be starting integration. A great realization today was seeing how differentiation directly comes into play. In the multiple linear regression model I just built, the gradient descent function uses partial differentiation to solve for the slope, w, and intercept, b, for every single point in our data, and the math just does magic. It's really cool to see the concepts connect. So, integration awaits. I also made sure to hit the gym. Today was leg day, but I targeted my triceps as well. To hit my legs, I did 2 sets each of leg press, lying hamstring curls, seated leg extensions, calf raises. Next up was triceps. To target them, I did 2 sets each of triceps rope pull down, overhead triceps extension, machine-supported kickbacks. That was all for my day 10. Thanks for watching.
The system is synchronized.